criminals can be prosecuted or prevented from having a big what? It just ran out. Okay. What am I doing? Hi gang. So in this video, I am going to be doing some beauty pageant makeup. Disclaimer, I have never been in a beauty pageant, and all that I know about beauty pageants is what I've seen on TV. I did watch a video a while back by John Oliver, and if you don't know him, he is a TV talk show host that does a lot of satirical political commentary on world affairs as well as American politics. And he centers a lot of his content around American politics because he is an American talk show host. But he does originate from Britain, so he has a British accent. So this video was about the Miss America pageants, and his research team found that they were inflating and overestimating the amount of scholarships that they could provide for their contestants. So one example was that they would take the scholarship amount, which was let's say it was 1,000 USD, and they would multiply it by the amount of contestants, which let's say it was 24, so it would be $24,000 listed as their potential contributions, when in fact there would only be one winner and it would be up to the winner to accept it or not. Despite the overestimation and the inflation of what they could potentially give to the contestants, they claimed that they were the organization that provided the largest amount of scholarships for women in the world. And despite all of that inflation and everything, when it came down to, in practice, what they did give out, it was actually a true statement that they actually did give the most. The main criticism is that there's just not enough scholarships for women, and that it's interesting that Miss America, which is a beauty pageant, is the one that gives the most, because obviously, to be a contestant and to win a pageant and eventually a scholarship from them would require being conventionally attractive. And so let's say there is a female who is disfigured or is larger than the conventional idea of beauty. She would not have the opportunity to get that scholarship simply because physically she does not fit the mold. Well, there are other categories in which the women have to compete, like answering questions and having a talent and things like that. But all round, you still have to be conventionally attractive in order to win the pageant. You can be the most talented and the most well-spoken and very articulate in your thoughts and ideas. But if you are not conventionally attractive, you won't even have a chance to enter into it. I will leave the link for the video down below if you're interested to check it out. I highly recommend that you do. Let's just get started with this beauty pageant thing. I looked up some pictures online, and that's what I'm basing this look on. I've already done my brows, so not much to say there. But I'm going to use my primer potion. I also am going to answer some beauty pageant questions in this video as I go along, and I thought it would be interesting because I have been guilty of laughing at beauty pageant contestant answers and saying, oh my god, how dumb, so stupid. But if you think about it, and this is the point that he raised in his video, John Oliver raised, they're given 20 seconds to answer this question, and it's a question they've never heard before. They might be prepared for it in terms of a general theme, global politics, things like that, and you might kind of try to read up on current events and think about a question that way. But in 20 seconds, and you are startled with a question you're supposed to answer. The contestant that I don't know where she's from, but she kept saying such as in her answer, I would have broken down and cried, okay? I would have straight up just cried on stage. But it probably also has a lot to do with being caught off guard and just blanking. I'll try to do those questions and see how I go. I might just go, I don't know. I don't know, and be booed off stage. If I seem more eloquent in general, or if I seem eloquent at all, please keep in mind that I do edit my videos. I don't ramble on and post uncut versions of myself. I do have a few videos that do that, but primarily I do edit my content. So I have cut out my oohs and ahs and ums and huh. A lot of those things. So I'm using the Melt Rust palette. Now I've been saying this wrong the whole time. I've been calling it the Rustic palette because with the squiggly lines and everything, it looks like it says rustic. To me, at least when I first got it, I thought, oh, it looks like it's saying rustic. Okay. And this was initially the Rust Melt stack of eyeshadows, the magnetic stack. So yeah, I don't know why it didn't connect in my mind that this would also be just named the Rust palette instead of the Rustic palette. But I've just been calling this the Rustic palette the whole time. And I think in some of my videos, I've also just called it the Rustic palette, or written it as Rustic, but it's not. It's the Rust palette. Forgive me. Okay, so I'm going for a very kind of, what is that called? Soft glam kind of effect, right? So kind of smoky, kind of neutral tones, no color here. I'm gonna use the shade Rust and Mar on the outer corner of my eye, and let's just go from there. So there's not gonna be much color. I mean, vibrant color, pinks and purples and so on, and such as. Sorry, I couldn't. But yeah, there's not going to be any of that. It's just going to be quite glamorous, but within the brown tones family. It's totally their choice if they want to participate in something like this, and if they think that it can, you know, benefit them. There are also opportunities that open up for a person when they do participate in something like this. For example, they get to travel, they get to meet lots of new people, and I do believe a lot of the contestants do some sort of humanitarian work, and that also bodes well for their resume in terms of being a beauty pageant contestant. The presenter might bring up the facts and say, oh, this person has been a humanitarian worker or volunteering with this particular organization, and it does bring awareness for whatever organization that they work with, are passionate about. And by no means do I think they are entirely superficial. That's just a common misconception. Okay, so I've kind of like done the whole hooded outside exterior eye thingy. So I'm just gonna go in with a neutral shimmer in the inner corner. Let's just go with it. So very soft kind of shimmer shade in the inner corner. I think some of that shimmer shade has gone on the outer corner. I'm just going to try to brush that away. Let's see, I think I want a little bit lighter of a shade in the inner corner. Okay, I think I'm gonna mix two shades on my brush. looks like there might be a lot more kind of sparkle in the middle of the eyelid. So let me just grab a shade. This is let's just hope that this doesn't mess up. Ooh, that is white. I didn't want it to be that bright, but if I tap it down, maybe it will. No, this is a little bit too cool tone. I think maybe if I mixed the shades together. Brighten up the inner corner. The lower lash line doesn't look too smoked out, so I probably won't do that. But I will define it just a little bit with some shadow. I will just have to line my eyes with the black. I think I want to use a little bit of a black gel liner on the top. One big criticism that that Joe and Oliver had about the Miss America contest rules was that one, you could not be married in order to be a contestant, and two, you must not have had a child. So I think there's this very old-fashioned notion of chastity in this case, and it's very kind of, you know, this woman must be available and pure and all that. So I'm gonna bronze. And then a little bit of contouring, I guess. Next up, let's do some highlighter. I think we're gonna just stick with a very basic tone of highlight. I'll take a very nice plummy kind of blush. This is too dark. Might be too dark. Messy bun, Dose of colors. It's a bit too pink, no? I don't think pink suits me. I really don't. I'm going to go with on repeat instead. I blot that off just a little bit. Okay, so this is the finished look. Okay, so let's get on to the questions. So I haven't prepped for these questions. I just kind of copy pasted them, and these were some of the if I'm not wrong, Miss Universe questions from last year. So let me try to answer these questions. Maybe I'll do a little bit of a timer. Let's see, how do I do this? So I'll give myself 30 seconds and not 20 seconds. I'll ask the question and then I will press the timer. So first question is, recently, many countries have seen protests in their streets. Some have led to violence. Is protest a positive way to create change? And starting now. So, is protest a positive way to create change? Yeah, I think it's a good way to create change. I think there needs to be a differentiation between peaceful protests and violent protests, and also to have a clear message about what you're protesting. I think that's the big goal, to actually have a strong message of what you want to protest, and also differentiate yourself from the people who are just simply opportunists, who take the time to vandalize things, to vandalize and wreck private property, and such as I'm leaving it in. So I see how difficult it is to kind of just come up with a quick answer just like that. And I gave myself 30 seconds, and I think I surpassed the 30 seconds. Okay, second question. Gonna read and then restart the timer. And why didn't my timer just like go off? Second question. Government surveillance is used to keep many nations and their people safe, but some believe this invades our right to privacy. What is more important to you, privacy or security? Restart. I would say, what? So I think that there needs to, oh God, this is just going to be one of those, there needs to be a balance kind of thing, because obviously I don't want my messages being read for no reason. I don't want, how you say, politicians who disagree with my personal viewpoints to get a hold of my private messages, or to unfairly prosecute me based on evidence or information that they found through violating my own rights to privacy. On the other hand, I do want a level of security so that criminals can be prosecuted or prevented from having a big... What? It just ran out. Okay. What am I doing? I don't know. Okay. Let's do the next question. I'm just gonna leave all my answers as is and kind of show you how long I actually took to answer the question, because somehow my timer is not giving me a sound notification. I don't know why. Okay, let's just do that. So the next question is, millions of women worldwide lack access to reproductive health care. What do you believe is the most important issue in women's health, and why? Let's see. I think that women should have access to things like birth control, methods of birth control, so that they can have a better informed choice of whether they want to have children. And I've just run out of time. This is severely difficult. I can't do this well. Next question. Social media has empowered people to express their beliefs, but sometimes those beliefs are intolerant and dangerous. Should social media platforms respect free speech or regulate what people post? I think social media has to kind of censor the information that is untrue. Then again, it's up to a person's interpretation whether something is a true statement or not true statement. I think the more interesting thing is making sure that political organizations don't have the access to advertising to certain kinds of audiences in order to sway a vote. I think I did better on that question. It's very difficult to fit everything I want to say in 30 seconds. They have to do it in 20, not 30. So, next question. Are leaders of today doing enough to protect future generations from climate change? If not, what more should they be doing? I don't think it's about the leaders of today. I just think it's more about industry and the conglomerates and organizations that have a lot of influence in terms of power plants. What organizations that create waste, companies and organizations that produce items and materials that create a lot of waste. And I think those organizations and companies should be held accountable. Those were my answers. I hope you enjoyed watching me fumble and not know what to say and such as. So if you found that entertaining and you want to answer the questions, I will put them in the description box below and possibly link the finalists for the Miss Universe of last year and what their answers were. I think they probably did much better than I did. And besides, okay, Miss Universe, these questions, they have to be very politically correct, so they have to censor what they say. I have, I guess, a little bit more liberal views, and I don't know how much that came across in my answer. Oh, my hair is falling apart. You see, they did it without their hair falling apart. I have not. Yeah, so my main takeaway from doing this is that it's extremely difficult to be eloquent and poised and politically correct all at the same time in under 20 seconds. I think if you pose these questions to President Trump of the US of A and try to get him to answer these questions in 20 seconds or less, you would get not as great of an answer than with these contestants. Okay, I'm done rambling. I'm checking out. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked it. Ciao for now.